All right, so we're going to get started here. So in Napa Tracks, and really the Pro Pack is three modules we're going to cover today. We're going to cover the loop sticker printing software. We're going to cover our fully integrated text messaging solution. And we're going to cover the Report Pro software, which is going to allow you folks to build your own everyday invoice and really market your shop or market your brand. You know, some of the things we cannot do in some of the current shop management systems. So with that said here, I'm going to jump into a repair order here for this gentleman, Michael Williams. And as we see here on the work order, you know, we have some various services, and one of them being an oil change. So I'll tell you folks, our loop sticker software, if you don't have a printer, it still works. You can still use it for all the integration and the automation I'm going to show you. If you have a loop sticker printer, maybe it's a standalone printer that has a keyboard plugged into it, I'd say we can integrate and make about 70% of those on the market work with our software. And you know, if you haven't let us configure yet, let us take a crack at it and see if we can make it work. If you don't, you can go to our website through our support page, and we have a link to all the different printers that we integrate with. So I'm going to start here. As you can see, our customer's coming for an oil change. And really what the loop sticker software is designed to do for you folks is we want to take some of the best practices in the dental industry, in the doctor's industry, in the hair salons. You know, where we go, we have an appointment today, and let's take the dentist, for instance. Before we leave there, you're booking your next 6-month checkup. And it works. And that's why dentists and doctors and hair salons are so successful, because they are booking those next appointments. Well, we want to take the same principles just in our world, you know, in the repair world. You know, our customers drive $20, $30, $40, $50,000 vehicles. So why wouldn't a customer want to put that vehicle on a maintenance schedule? Because we all know a car that's well maintained actually costs less in the long run. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use some of this automation to get our customers coming back 3, 4, 5 times a year, not just every time something breaks on the vehicle. So as you see here, we have the oil change. So the first thing we're going to cover is Pro Pack. And down in the bottom left-hand corner in our utility tray, there's a little gray wrench with a yellow box around it, and that's the launcher button for Pro Pack. So if I click on it, you can see here, here's the option to open our loop sticker software. Now, every once in a while, you folks are going to see updates. We do regular updates on a month, pretty much on a monthly basis. If you see an update, always get it. Most of them take less than 5 to 7 seconds to install, and there's nothing you need to do other than sit and wait, and the software opens itself up. That simple. Now, the loop sticker is designed to do one of two things. As we can see here, we're going to calculate how many miles per day on average your customer's driving based upon their service history. So as you see here, our odometer in today is 65,000 miles. And it says our customer was driving 32 miles a day. But if I go in and change that, maybe this customer's at 87,000 miles, and I relaunch the Pro Pack software, you're going to get to see how quick we update the customer's driving habits. Oh, and this customer, I'm sorry, has no history. That's why it's picking up the national average of 32 miles per day. So we'll use 32 miles today as our guideline. Now, what this software is designed to do for the customers that are returning customers is when we calculate the average miles driven per day in your shop, and every customer drives their vehicles at different intervals, we can predict when the customer's due for their next oil change. So think about all you folks that before you purchased our software, you know, either we had the standalone printer or maybe we were handwriting our loop stickers. You know, if a customer came in for that 3,000-mile oil change, we were pretty much telling them to come back in 90 days because that was national average. That was 32 miles per day. But not many people drive 32 miles per day. Most customers drive more than that. You know, our distance to work's greater. We do more with our families. So ultimately, the average customer now is driving probably about 45 to 50 miles per day. So the first thing you guys want to take a look at when you open the software is the settings screen. This is where we let you folks program in 3 grades of oil. And you get to customize these. Call them whatever you want. And you get to set up, based on the weight and the grade of the oil, when you would like to see the vehicle return, at which odometer, and how many days. And like I said, these are just generic settings. Once you make those changes, you just save and close. So I'm going to work with the conventional motor oil today, which is our 3,000 mile motor oil. And what we're going to do here, I'm going to save the changes we made. Mr. Williams here. I'm going to open the work order back up. I'm going to relaunch ProPack, open the loop sticker software. And now you see, being that I'm choosing a conventional motor oil, my next odometer is 3,000 miles greater than my odometer is. And here's my next due date of April 19th. So that's exactly 3 months from today, because this customer has no history. So what we do is we just use the default settings like you guys were commonly using before you had our software. If I choose to a 5,000 mile motor oil, as you can see, everything automatically updates. A 7,500 mile motor oil. And now what we've also added in the last 30 days is the ability to have a custom interval motor oil. So if maybe you're offering a diesel oil, what you can do here is you can go in here and maybe say, hey, this is a diesel motor oil. I want to see that car back in 10,000 miles, which is approximately maybe, 8 months or 240 days. Or if you want to make that once a year, 365 days, you hit OK, and the software will print and calculate those settings based on this custom interval. But like I said, we're going to work off the conventional today. The nice thing also about the software, folks, is when this customer comes in for the next oil change, it will automatically default to the previous oil you used, unless you change it. So the key here with this software is we need to teach our technicians or our service advisors to click this button right here. The print button is the action key. So by clicking the print button, obviously we're going to print a loop sticker for you folks that's going to have all your shop information on it. But the print button is the key because that's what's going to allow us to create the automation. So we saw that customer was next due on April 19th. When I go into my recommended services folder and I take a peek right there, as you can see, this customer now has a recommendation for that next oil change on April 19th. This is a best practice in this industry. These are things we should be doing with all of our maintenance services. We should be scheduling the next service, whether it's an air filter, cabin air filter, a 30, 60, 90K service. But because these things are manual processes, we don't do them, right? We get busy. But by clicking that print button, as you can see here, I've already booked the next oil change. Not only do we put a recommendation in the management system, but we're also going to go back into your schedule inside of Trax. If I go out to April 19th, your customer's appointment's booked for you. And we even tell you in the repair order notes here what the car is coming back for and which vehicle. And that's great for customers that have multiple vehicles. So all that automation happens just by clicking the print button. All right. Now, not only do we reschedule the oil change, but in our software, I'm going to open up the loop sticker, we can also reschedule future maintenance services that you can custom build. Of course, I'm having trouble opening the software here. Give me a second. Let me take a peek at something here. Let's see. All right. So there we go. So we can open those advanced scheduling features we talked about. So in the settings of the software, there's a tab here that says Advanced Scheduling. And what that is designed to do is you can select your canned jobs from inside of Napa Tracks. For instance, by hitting the Add button, here is every canned job you folks have built inside of Tracks. So what I've done here is I've chosen a four-wheel alignment. And if I double-click on this, that was my job out of Tracks. I know an alignment is something I want to do on a vehicle about once a year or every 15,000 miles. And I put it in here for about 365 days. So in the software, if I build these advanced scheduling features ahead of time, every time I sell an alignment, I can tell the software to auto-add the next recommendation for the next four-wheel alignment. And it will pick up these intervals and book that service as far as a recommendation and also a future appointment. So if I want to create, let's say, another service, and maybe I'm going to do it for, let's see here, balancing the tires. Well, that one doesn't have a category attached to it in Napa, so let's say tire rotation. Tire rotation is something that, we should do maybe every 3,000 miles when the car comes in, which is about 90 days. And I can set this up for the next recommendation to say, rotate all four tires. I can tell the software to auto-add the customer's next appointment. I can set this up how long it's going to take me labor-wise. So maybe that's something that takes, a quarter of an hour, 0.25 hours. I hit OK, and now my next advanced scheduling feature is ready to go. So let's look at that four-wheel alignment. Because in the software, I had a four-wheel alignment on my ticket here. So when I click print to print the loop sticker, not only did it set the next recommendation, next appointment for the loop sticker, but if I go back into my recommended services folder, there's my next alignment job as well. And look at the due date. It's a year from today, because we told it we want to see that car every year. And if I go into this track schedule for January 18th of 2017, that appointment is going to be on there for next year. So let's go out to next January. There's our customer, and there's our repair order note that the customer's coming back for a four-wheel alignment. So that schedule or appointment's already booked as well. Now, the key with this software, folks, and the key with getting your customers to come back on a regular basis is a very simple 10 to 15 second conversation with every customer. We want to set the expectation. And what I mean by that is when that customer comes in to pay for this invoice today, and we know we've done our oil change, and we know we've set the next recommendation and booked their next appointment, let's let the customer know. Let's have a basic conversation with the customer that just says, in this case, this guy's name is Michael Williams. Hey, Michael, we did your oil change today. What we've done is we've gone to some new software, and based on your driving habits, we've predicted that you are due for your next oil change on April 19th. So that's what our recommendation tells us here. So, Mr. Williams, what we've done for you is we've pre-booked your next appointment for April 19th. It's not etched in stone. You're not required to come back that day. But what we're going to do for you, so you don't have to think about when you're next due for the oil change, is we're going to send you an appointment reminder about a week in advance to let you know of this upcoming service. At that point, you can just look at your odometer. If you're due for the oil change, you can text us back and confirm your appointment. If that date doesn't work for you, you can text us back and change the date of your appointment. The best part is you don't have to stop what you're doing and pick up the phone and call us. So, now that we've booked the customer's next oil change and we've let them know what's going to happen in the future, when we open up the software, and I'm going to open up the message manager, which is our text messaging solution. And I'm going to go into our customer here, and I'm going to put in a cell phone number. This is the appointment reminder your customer is going to see a week in advance. And there it is. As you notice, the message is personalized because we pull your customer's name right out of the Napa Tracks database. It tells the customer which vehicles due back, tells them the date and the time of the appointment, and of course it would have your shop name and your shop phone number on it in case the customer wants to call, or it gives the customer the option just to reply with the letter C to confirm their appointment. Or, like I said, if they can't make that date, they can text you guys back right to the workstations and say, hey, I can't make April 19th. Can I come in April 26th? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to send this message. And remember, these messages go out automatically. So it's going to hit my cell phone here any second. It's already there. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to reply to this message so you folks get to see what happens at the shop when those messages come back in. So I just sent the message back from my cell phone back into the shop. The nice thing about the text messaging, folks, is it runs in the background. You're working away. If a customer texts you, the messages will just display on your workstations. You don't have to go out and look for them. You don't have to refresh anything. We check for new text messages for you folks every 30 seconds. If there's one there, we will display it for you. Now, the nice thing about Message Manager is not only do we send the appointments to the customers that have oil changes, but it will send appointment reminders to all your customers who are on the Tracks schedule. So if you're using the schedule in Napa Tracks, every customer we will send an appointment reminder to automatically. It doesn't matter if they're coming back for a brake service, flushes, regardless. They will get an appointment reminder, and they all have the ability to confirm their appointments. So while we're waiting for that text message to come back in, I'm going to go back into the Lube Sticker software and show another nice option. All right, so there's the message that just came back in from our customer, and he's requesting to come in on the 26th of April. So at that point, I can just go to my Napa Tracks schedule. I can move the appointment to the 26th of April. Our software will automatically send another appointment reminder for you. And if I want to respond to the customer, I can just click on the message and say, no problem. See you then. Hit send. And, of course, my customer gets their return message a couple seconds later. So where all this communication is happening, and we never have to pick up the phone in the shop. And I'm going to talk about that in a second here. So another nice option, depending on the printer you use, is we give you folks the ability to print a key tag sticker. So many of us attach some sort of key tag to our customer's keys that maybe we hand write the plate number on, or we hand write the customer's name, and more often than not, we can't read the handwriting. So with a click of a button here, I can print a sticker with all the pertinent information from our customer, like name, vehicle, VIN, and plate, and I can just take that sticker and stick it on the key tag so I do not have to hand write it. Another nice feature that's a real time savings in the shop is this button right here. Our technicians, now most vehicles, they know the reset instructions, but we do come across some that we don't know. So what happens is the technicians then have to go into the repair software, go out to Google, and they're spending, let's say a minute to 2 minutes looking up this information. Well, what we've given the technicians the ability to do is just click a button and drop in the vehicle, and in most cases the vehicle will autofill, and pull up the instructions to reset that maintenance light. Much quicker, huge time savings. We can print these out. We can copy and paste these notes into Napa and store those for later somewhere. But there again, everything is right at our fingertips. All right. So a nice thing about the Lube Sticker software is, like I said, every shop's different. You have control of everything. As far as the days of the week that you want to book future oil changes. So if my shop is closed Saturdays and Sundays, I'm going to deselect those days so the software never books a future appointment on Saturdays or Sundays. And if you notice here, I have Mondays unchecked. Maybe Monday's a real heavy day in my shop, and that's the day I don't want to deal with any oil changes. So what I've done here is I've only selected Tuesday through Friday as days where the software is going to book those future oil changes. So I can culture my customers to come in for oil changes on only Tuesdays through Fridays. You have all the control. You also get to control the start time of the first appointment, obviously how many hours or labor hours it takes per oil change, the max amount of vehicles you can handle per day. So if our software looks out into the future and on your Napa schedule, you already have 15 appointments, we will not book you another appointment on that day. We will roll to the next available business day. All these things are adjustable. The ability of changing how often you want to schedule appointments or the minutes in between appointments, and also the ability to block off future holidays so the software does not book any future appointments. When you're done making your changes, save and close, and you're ready to go. And folks, that's really it for the oil change software. Like I said, it's really just designed to get those customers coming back on a regular maintenance schedule. We don't make a ton of money off the oil change, but if we can get that car in, like I said, 3 to 5 times a year for all those other services like filters and flushes, that's where all the money is. That's where the gravy is. And that's all we want to do. We want to put that car on the schedule just like our doctors and dentists put us on the schedule. All right. So that's going to lead us into the message manager or the text messaging software. So think about all the times and that, or throughout the course of the day, that we pick up that phone to communicate with our vehicle owners for whatever reason, right? We're constantly reaching out to our customers about their vehicle needs. We're letting them know their vehicle's ready for pickup. We're letting them know we have their estimate ready, whatever it may be. So we've done a lot of time studies here, and what I can tell you, folks, is almost 2 out of every 3 outbound calls you folks make go unanswered. You get a voicemail, which is very frustrating if you're a shop owner or a service advisor. And there's a couple reasons why. One, most of our customers leave the cars with us all day and they go back to work, and they're not just sitting around doing nothing waiting for us to call them 3 or 4 times a day about their vehicle. 2, maybe they go home with their families. Who knows? Maybe they can't take calls at work. So what the message manager or the text messaging solution is designed to do is help us communicate much more efficiently, get quicker responses, and not have to make those outbound phone calls. I can tell you the shop phone is probably one of the biggest waste of times that we deal with on a daily basis. It is a huge drain on efficiency. So what we've done here is think of this window, the main window of Message Manager, as the window on your cell phone. You get to see everyone you've communicated with. And if we open up a specific person, we can see our conversation just between you and your customer. And everything's date and time stamped. And these text messages in this communication window will stay here forever. I mean, you can see some of this goes back as far as last year, or maybe even beforehand, 2014. So what I can tell you is when you get those voicemails 2/3 of the time, folks, the average response time from our customers, that means when they listen to the voicemail and then call us back, is about 1.3 billable hours. So for all of us that have a labor rate of around 90 or 100 hours, per hour, that happens 2 or 3 times a day. That's 200 or 300 hours of lost efficiency. If we text our customers, about 18 minutes. So we're going to give you about 75 to 80% quicker response time, and once again, you did not have to make that outbound phone call. So if you look at the menu across the top here, folks, we have a couple different options. The new message button allows you to manually type in a phone number and manually type in a message and send a text message. Quick message will be probably your most popular choice. What the quick message tab does is it allows you to communicate with whoever's work order you currently have open in Tracks, in this case, Michael Williams. So if I get a quick message, it knows it's Michael Williams, and it displays Michael's cell phone number. Now, inside the quick message window, we have some templates. With the software, these are the more common templates we give you with the software. These are the more common things you're calling your customers about. Appointment reminders, your vehicle's ready for pickup, we have an estimate ready. Inside here, we also give you folks the ability to build your own canned text messages. Build as many as you want. You want to build one that says happy birthday, whatever you want to do, it can all be quickly built. So in this case, if I want to let Michael Williams know his estimate's ready, I just click on the template. I can drop in the dollar amount, and it tells the customer, your estimate is ready for $400. Please call us to discuss, or type the word approve for us to perform the work. So now when I send that message to my customer, most customers are going to give us a approval. And I'm going to do that now. The nice thing is if our customer approves the work via text message, we have a binding contract and we have a paper trail. So we know in the shops, and that doesn't happen too often, but your customer gives you a verbal approval for $300 or $400, and of course they come in at 5 o'clock and they forget how much they approved, and now we're put in sort of an awkward situation. Well, that won't happen with the text messaging software, because when we open everything up, like I said, you get to see everything, and everything is date and time stamped right down to the second. So in a second here, you're going to see the approval at the database, and there it is, even though it hasn't popped up on my workstation yet. So we've had shops that have had to go to court, and we give you the ability to print out the whole messaging history, and this will hold up in court. So like I said, it's great to have a paper trail, and you don't have that unless you folks are recording your phone calls, which I'm going to assume most of you probably are not. So now, there's my inbound text message from Mr. Jennings, and he's approved the work. So I can just respond to him and say, thanks, and see you at 5. And pretty much I'm done my communication the rest of the day with him unless I need to text him for something else. But that's how quick it is. So also in the text messaging, think about how many times, folks, we're working on a repair order, an estimate for a customer like Mr. Williams, and it hits us, we have to reach out to another customer. Well, in our management system, all day, we're saving our progress, and we're going to look up another customer. And it really upsets the efficiency in our shop. So what we've given you folks the ability to do is you can still be in a work order, you can bring over the open text messaging, and here's your customer list, and this is your database and tracks. So if I need to reach out to Mr. Jones, I can even drop it down, or drill it right down to one person by last name, first name. If Bobby Jones is the customer I need to reach out to, I double click. I can send them a message saying their estimate's ready, hit send, and now I'm finished and I'm right back to my work order. I never had to leave what I was doing. Another nice feature you folks have here inside of Message Manager is the work in progress button. This is your work in progress inside of Tracks. These are all the people whose vehicles are in the shop. These are the people you're going to communicate mostly on every day. So find your customer, double click, send them a message. Like I said, in Tracks, we're finding the customer's phone number, we're grabbing the work order, we're leaving them a message. You will be able to communicate with 8 to 10 customers via text message for every one phone call you make. Another nice feature is the calendar button. So this will be a screenshot or a duplicate snapshot of your track schedule. So if I go out to April 19th, there's that oil change we talked about. It's already on my schedule on Tracks, but you can also view it here inside the schedule in Message Manager. They match exactly. And not only do we show you all appointments, but if you notice in the bottom left-hand corner, I'll also show you all the recommendations from your recommended services folder. So often, we can check these recommended services right here because we have recommendations, but we might not have appointments. So if this customer has a recommendation for an oil change, I can just double-click, and maybe I have a template that's pre-built that says, hey, your vehicle has service due. You just click and send. Now your customer knows to call you and make an appointment. It's that simple. We even give you the ability inside the software here to select multiple cell phones and text to. Maybe you have a husband and wife or a boyfriend and girlfriend or a father-daughter, so you can communicate with all the different phone numbers that are inside your Trax database. All right, so that's pretty much it for the text messaging solution. Like I said, take advantage of it. You're gonna, like I said, you're gonna get 80% quicker response time. Being a former service advisor, the thing I hated the most at the end of the day is I made 50 phone calls and maybe I get good results 10 or 15 times. Using text messaging, you're going to see 100% results. And the nice thing is your customers don't have to opt in or anything like that. You own the software. You can communicate with all your customers. You don't need to get their permission. And that is right out of the box the day you get the software. So that's going to lead us into the third phase of the Pro Pack, which is Report Pro. And in Report Pro, this is where we're going to allow you folks to custom build your own everyday invoice. So I'm going to load the software here and think about it. This is something similar to an invoice we're handing our customers every day, and I'm going to bring up the one in Trax. And, it's not just Trax, it's pretty much any management system. The invoices are very generic. Here's all your recommended services. But there's nothing really about this that makes it unique to your business. And think about all the times we've been in places like Home Depot and Target and Walmart and all these big box retailers. What's unique about all those places is they all have an invoice that's unique. So if you go to Target, their invoice has that big red bullseye on it. And if I held that invoice up from across the room, you would still know it's a Target invoice. And that's what we're going to try to create for you guys so you can market your brand. We know every customer leaves with an invoice. So use it as a free form to advertise to your customers. So here's our work order. If we open up Report Pro, up in the upper left-hand corner under the invoice section, you see we give you about 8 or 9 different layouts. You can choose the one that you want to make your everyday invoice. Our most popular are the modern and classic templates. And what they are is they are what we call menu style pricing, or a job-by-job layout. It's very easy for the customer to read and understand. Because what we have is, once this loads, we're going to have a labor operation with the associated parts. And then what you're going to have is a job total by the job. So here we have our basic oil change service with our parts, labor parts, job total. Our floor alignment, labor, job total. So as you notice on our invoice, 1, it's in color. And 2, we can allow you to put a logo right up on the invoice. If you're not sure how to do it, we're going to show you where you can find like a user guide at the end of this presentation, or you can make an appointment with our support team and we'll do it for you. All you need to do is have your logo somewhere for us. We'll size it and we'll put it on the invoice for you. You have the ability to put a watermark on every invoice. It only holds 2 characters, but you can see how nice it looks. At the bottom of each page of each invoice, we allow you folks to add affiliate logos. And all these logos are stored right inside the software. So everything is just going to be point and click for you. So if I want to take off, let's say, the O'Reilly logo, I can just go up here inside the software to the Customize button and say, I'm going to customize my invoice. I can go to the affiliate logos. Number 4 was the O'Reilly. I can hit my little drop down. And in our folder here, there's a folder for BOT, which is bolt-on technology. We have sample logos. So maybe I want to make that one a Chevron logo, let's say. I double click, the logo uploads, I save my changes. I can reload my invoice. And now we have our Chevron logo on the invoice. That simple. Folks, you can literally build this invoice start to finish, and there again, we can help you with that in about 10 or 15 minutes and make changes as often as you like. So not only do we allow you to put affiliate logos, but take a look over here to the right. How about social media? I'm sure most of you guys have a Facebook page or a Twitter handle or a LinkedIn page. Well, what we can do for you guys is we can put your URLs or your links behind these icons. So all someone's got to do is click on it, and we'll take them right to inspections. Or we can take them right to, let's say in this case, well, I don't have one behind LinkedIn. Let's say Twitter. There's not one behind Twitter. But let's say our website. And take notice, we just upgraded our website, folks. So if you get a chance, go on there. But we just totally revamped this in the last day or two. But the goal with these links is to put your URLs behind there. So with a click of a button, we can drive your customer back to your brand. So as we go on to page 2 of the invoice, this is where we keep our recommendations. And if you notice here, we handle recommendations a little differently than you do on the Napa invoice. We don't want them to get lost in the shuffle of the invoice because we know that recommendations are the bread and butter of our shop, right? That's what we want our customers to come back for. That's what drives our future business. We might make 5 recommendations today, and maybe the customer only performs 3 of those services. Well, you've spent labor time to do all 5. Why shouldn't you get rewarded with those other 2 services on the next visit? So we constantly want to make sure our customers know about their vehicle's recommendations. And if you notice here, if the car has a future recommendation, and you look out here to the right, there's a QR code. What this will allow your customer to do is take their smartphone and scan that QR code. And if you notice here, it has the due date of May 24th, and it tells the customer, scan this to set an appointment. So when your customer scans it with their smartphone, it will automatically create an appointment in their smartphone to put right back into their calendar. We all live and die by our smartphones. I use my calendar probably 20 times a day. Well, this would be nice because I could just scan this appointment in, hit save, and the appointment's in my calendar. I don't have to manually recreate it or type it in on my smartphone. So the goal is here is we don't ever want those customers to miss those future appointments at your shop. This second QR code here, we can put whatever you want behind it. It could be your website, maybe a link to your review page, but all that can be programmed. And if the customer scans that one and you have them go into your review page, right there they go. You folks even have the ability to customize the different payment forms you take. So let's say my shop doesn't take Amex. Once again, I just go to customize my invoice. I can go to the credit card section. I can uncheck Amex, hit save, reload my invoice, which is the modern template here for my shop. Go back to page 2. And if you notice now, our Amex logo is gone. And lastly, another nice feature we give you with the invoice is the ability to build your own marketing items or coupons, however you want to use it. And we tell folks, if you're going to build coupons, put your full price here. You will get full price for your services. You do not have to discount things. In America, if we see a dotted line on a receipt, we see them all the time, right away we think, oh boy, I'm getting a deal. So, like I said, they don't have to be coupons. We can make marketing items. Hey, see our new body shop, whatever it may be. Maybe Tuesday at my shop is Ladies' Day, however you guys want to handle it. So if I'm going to change this one from Happy Holidays, I can just go back to customize my invoice, go to the coupon section, and maybe I say Happy January. I can save, reload my invoice, and now you're going to see that coupon is already going to be updated. And there it is. So that's how easy it is. I mean, you can change these coupons daily if you want. It takes seconds. So what happens a lot of times is shops will say, well, gee, I don't have a color printer, or I don't want to spend money for a color printer. Well, don't, right? We give you the ability to use this button right up here. It's called email. With a click of a button, we can program the system to automatically open up your email. Mine's not open right now, but it's opening it for me, and it's already building the invoice. And look at this. It's already attached a copy of the invoice. All I have to do in this case, if my customer's email was in my shop management system, it would have put it right here. It's not, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in my email for the first time. I can type a little message in here for my customer. I can hit send, and look what happens. It notices that either there's a change in email or there's no email and back in tracks, and it asks us, would we like to save this email address back into our management system? We hit yes, the email's off. We go back into tracks here for Mr. Williams. We go to our customer tab, and now your customer's email is back in tracks, so you don't have to do it yourself. So there's a lot of nice features in here, folks, to really make things a lot easier at the shop. As far as that email, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to let you see the final product. So I'm going to go into my email here. Hopefully that email's here waiting for us. There's my invoice. So I'm going to open up. And there's our invoice. Crisp, clean, color, watermark. There's our icons. If I click on these things, like I said, we're going to go to our different links. There's my recommendations. There's my coupons. So think about, what do you want to hand your customer? Take a peek. Look at your invoice, the last one you gave your customer this morning. Compare it to this one. See what you think your customers will prefer, or what markets your business or makes your business look more professional. So that's really it, folks. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you to our website, and in our support page here, one, we have live training. We have videos. So this will take you right to our How Do I, or our YouTube page with all of our videos. We have a help guide. With a click of a button, you pick the product you're using. Let's say it's the text messaging. And here's a common list of the more common questions. And basically, it's everything I just talked about with you folks. You click on the question, and here's your answer. So it shows you not only it answers some of your questions, but it shows you how to set things up in the software. If you want to give it a shot before calling our support team. When you're done with Message Manager, you can collapse it, and maybe we go to Report Pro. And there's all the more common questions in Report Pro. You know, how to email an estimate or RO or an invoice. There it is. What we also have inside our website, I'm going to go back to the support page, is we talked about the loop sticker and the printers and the supplies. Well, with this link, here are all the different printers available for you folks, different labels, ribbons, everything is here. You can order online, or you can call our business partner at National Document Solutions, toll free, and order all your supplies that you might need. So I would highly recommend use that user guide I showed you from our website. Go to the training videos. In fact,